Hello, and welcome to 97.9 Unity Radio, the best MMA show in all of Massachusetts. I am your host, the best podcast host in the universe and radio host, Steve Cully. And with me, as always, my partner in crime. We are Batman and Robin, and I am Batman.
No, you're not.
All he
No, you're
does is
You're not
train.
Batman.
All he
You are
does.
not fuck. If you're Batman Robin, you are not fucking Batman. Jesus
I got to be
Christ.
Robin. Robin was gay, so I got to be Robin. Okay.
Yes. Yeah.
So Tyler.
Well,
Tyler.
how was Robin gay?
I don't know. He seemed kind of, maybe that was his thing. I don't know.
Okay.
Maybe that was his deal. There's nothing wrong with that. I mean,
You did, but you said it in negative fashion.
I did not say it in a negative fashion. I just said that
Robin was gay. Robin was gay.
I just said that like I would know in 2 seconds, like, oh my God, there's a penis in my butt and I don't like it. And that would stall out.
Steve, you are such a habitual line stepper. You went from some topical humor. You went from like some topical humor to penis in the butt. It's like, wow. You just jumped over that line, bro.
So my partner in crime, the Marauder Tyler King, all he does is train, teach class, and he beats that ass. So welcome, Tyler. We have a great show for you on 97.9 Unity Radio, and a lot of action this weekend. A lot of action, and you pretty much predicted the UFC fight, which is good. The John Jones fight, which we'll get into.
Of course.
But we are going to start with I don't know what to call it exactly, but the event, the spectacle,
the
highway robbery of money.
No. I was about to say the fundraiser for Mike Tyson.
It was the fundraiser for Mike Tyson. The $20 million fundraiser for Mike Tyson.
Yeah, it kind of was, bro. Like,
no, you're right. It was.
From everything I understand, Mike's doing pretty good financially.
He is once he gets his marijuana
with
thing.
With his podcast and Tyson Valley Ranch and everything like that. But it feels like this. We're kind of getting right into it here. It feels like this was just like.
Well, he was in debt for a while too, so
I don't know. I know it was, but I know he's in a pretty good. He was in a much better.
He worked himself back. Yes, you're right. You are correct.
But the thing I'm getting at, this whole situation seemed very transactional. I mean, I think it's a really good thing that Mike gets $20 million. But
yeah, I agree.
But
Tyler, I don't know. Tyler, they didn't fight. They barely touched each other.
Not really.
It reminded me.
Yeah, there was a couple. Well, no.
Yeah, there were a couple close exchanges. Yeah.
No, like there's. That's not what I said, Steve. There's all sorts of stuff all over the internet, calling it fixed, everything like that. Which, I'm starting to believe it, to be honest. But
we'll talk about that.
I'm watching some of this footage, and I'm like, okay, did Mike pull that punch, or is he just freaking 57, 58?
We'll talk about that shortly, but I did want to talk about the fight that you pointed out, and it was every bit as good as you said it would be, and it was Katie Taylor versus Amanda Serrano. Unfortunately, the winner was highly disputed, and the judges were very, very scrutinized for this one. I mean, I have no idea how these fights are scored. I don't know what they look for as far as the punches landed, the impact of the punches. If you punch less but hit more of the punches, if that matters, the percentage. Like, I don't know how the scoring system works, so
Yeah.
it's tough for me to understand. But it was clear to me that like Katie Taylor won the fight, in my
Yeah.
opinion, and I didn't think it was, I didn't think it was close, but Amanda Serrano retains after 10 rounds, and it was a barn burner. I mean, it was a really, really
Hmm.
intense,
Fast
uh,
paced. Fast paced fight.
very fast paced, very physical
Yeah.
fight. Um, I was impressed with Serrano. Clearly,
Hmm.
she was better with her hands. I mean, she was fast. She was a better puncher out of the two, and it showed. I mean, she connected on some really big shots. And Taylor has got to have a jaw of iron.
Hmm.
But she also, Taylor seemed to respond well more with uh, the combinations. Like, she would come back with counters and combos that I saw. And again, I'm
Hmm.
not an analyst, but it seemed like she had some good combinations that she would get in there, but she wasn't as consistent with her fighting as Serrano was.
Yeah.
Is that accurate? Would you agree?
I mean, I thought the fight was pretty close, but at the end of the fight, I kind of begrudgingly thought Amanda Serrano had won, but
Well, you have always said you can't put it in the judge's hands
no, you
if you're
can't.
the
But
champion.
oh, yeah, when it wasn't, I scored it for Amanda
Oh,
Serrano,
you
but
scored it.
what?
You actually scored it. You kept score the whole fight.
Oh, no, no, no. I'm just saying. I'm
Okay.
saying. I'm just saying. Watching it, I scored it for Amanda Serrano, but
Yeah.
um. Boxing, I mean, I don't want to throw any shakes. I don't know who the judges were offhand, but boxing has a long history of these kind
Yes,
of decisions.
they do.
And
Yes.
so like the thing that really stuck out to me was Katie Taylor, she's got the whole Irish machine behind her. When I say Irish
Yeah.
machine, basically that means Conor McGregor and his supporters. Conor McGregor's been very vocal about support of Katie Taylor. The only thing like that's the only thing I could really come up with because I thought that Amanda Serrano, with her Latina heritage, would kind of get the judges nod there. I thought she would get the benefit of the doubt from the judges.
Yeah. Yeah, I
I
hear
really
you.
thought that, but
Yeah.
you know, Kay Taylor. Apparently, the judges kind of liked her. I mean, I like I said, I wasn't being, I wasn't sitting there with my pen and paper and scoring the way I would if I was actually a judge.
Right.
But just watching the fight, I was like, okay. And for me, because I was actually rooting for Katie Taylor, begrudgingly thought Amanda Serrano had won. Then obviously the announcement is like, oh, okay. I mean, for me, I don't care because that's where I gambled. But yeah,
No.
it,
Right.
it's not,
I
it's
get
not,
it.
it's not,
I get it.
it's not good for, not good for the sport, not good for Katie Taylor, Amanda Serrano. I mean,
Well,
lots of bad decisions happen. Just seems they've been happening a lot lately.
yeah, and boxing overall is just, it just doesn't seem
Corrupt.
legit.
It's
Yeah, I
corrupt.
mean,
Yeah.
it seems like it's
it
very,
seems it seems pretty corrupt. Yes.
it's very corrupt, and it's like the fighters, like there's no, like, if they combined
Yeah.
into just one organization, I think
What are
it
you
would be
talking?
more. Well, there's the WBA, the WBC, the W Suck My Balls. I mean, there's way too many organizations that have title
That's
belts,
fair. That's fair.
and I think if they just combined into one, they would make more money, and it would be a lot more easier to put on events.
I mean, Steve, I hear what you're saying, but there's too much money. Like too many different people have too much money involved, and that's kind
But
of
I
where
don't
it's all
think
coming from.
they do though. I don't
No,
think
they don't.
boxing makes a ton of money. I mean, a few fights do, but
Yeah,
overall, if you look at when boxing was at its peak in like the 80s, I mean,
yeah,
they would have pay-per-views, they would have great, Friday night fights on USA that
uh
did
huh,
really, really well.
yeah.
And it seems like now it's like a free-for-all. Like you never know what you're going to get.
That's fair. That's very fair, Steven.
So that was the concern. I mean, I thoroughly enjoyed the fight. I thoroughly enjoyed the card actually.
Yeah,
Um, but it was just disappointing to see
I
the
mean,
decision on that fight.
I
Now,
mean, I enjoyed the card too. The two fights that I watched.
yeah, and now the obviously the Mike Tyson Jake Paul fight is a different story.
Yeah,
A much different story. Uh, I like you were saying. Um, it looked at times like not that it was necessarily fixed, but it looked obviously, and Jake Paul even admitted to that he took his foot off the gas, and he
yeah, he
didn't
did.
want
But I mean,
he didn't want to hurt a legend.
yeah, like I tend to like part of me like I've been obviously thinking about it and I'm kind of trying to wrap my head about it. I mean, part of me thinks this was Jay trying to get some shine off of Mike's name, which 100% it was,
Of
and
course, he's a smart businessman.
maybe trying to uh give Mike. We were just talking about this briefly, kind of trying to give Mike a little bit of money. You know, almost as a thank
And
you, right?
he said that
Yeah.
too. He said that about Canelo Alvarez, the current cruiserweight champion. He said that he knows where the money man's at. If he wants a payday, he knows how to get one.
Yeah, that's
And
fair.
he's right. And you said that.
Yeah, to an extent, Canel's not hurting for any money.
Well, he doesn't make the kind of money that Jake Paul makes per fight.
Uh, I would per fight. I don't know about that. I don't think it's as
It's not like
I don't think it's as lopsided. I don't think it's as big a
lopsided as I think
discrepancy.
it is.
Big discrepancy as Jake's putting on is what I'm thinking. Is what I think.
Do you think that Jake Paul will eventually foray into UFC at some point? Do you think he'll try his hand at
The
it?
UFC, no. I
No.
believe.
Oh, you
I
said he signed with
believe.
PFL. Yes.
Yeah, I believe he has an exclusive deal in MMA for his fights to be PFL. But yeah. So I honestly don't know if Michael, if Jake will go to mixed martial arts.
Do you think he'd have
Honestly,
success?
I don't think the money will be there for him. I think he's making more
No.
money in boxing.
You're absolutely right. Yeah, I didn't even think about that. Financially,
Yeah.
there's no way that they would give him the kind of money that he's getting.
Well,
Um,
he's made. Well, and he's also his own promoter in boxing. He's making like all the
yeah,
money he's
yes, he
making
doesn't
it.
have
It's his money.
representation.
Yeah, like it's not like he's a boxer going that has a promoter promoting him, putting on his fights. Nah, he puts on his own
He
fights.
does
So
it all
he's
himself.
kind
Yeah.
he's kind of his own entity here with what is it? Oh, most valuable promotions MVP. So it's not so much a uh I think I just don't know what his financial compensation deal would be with PFL. I believe he's an investor in the PFL now too. So
Oh,
again,
oh, that would be interesting.
don't quote me. I'm not 100% sure about that. But
Well, you just quoted yourself, but I agree with you.
no, I mean I'm not 100% sure what his level of investment is, or if he's actually an investor. But
right.
I know he has the exclusive deal with PFL. I would assume he's put some of his money in the PFL. So I mean, as far as payment goes, I don't know how his pay scale would work with him being probably a partial owner, or I don't know the details of his financial involvement with PFL, but I do believe his I believe he has some money in the PFL, and that he would I believe his purse would work a little differently. He would see money on the back end, as he's financially invested in the PFL. I believe, but I think his pay scale would be different because of that. And number two, I
Right.
just don't think they can, even with him being invested, I don't think that they'll ever match kind of money he makes
No,
boxing.
no. I agree. I think it would be a situation where, like they did with Francis Ngannou, they let him box, and then if you wanted to take an MMA fight just for the,
No, it'd be different just because.
it would.
No, like Francis isn't financially like a
I
stakeholder.
understand. I understand what you're saying. I understand. Okay. Yes,
But
it's different
again,
because he's a stakeholder.
Francis was also boxing on the highest level. Is making, for lack of a better word, fu money. So I honestly, um, I don't know. I
Yeah.
personally think, yeah, like it's one of those very muddy situations. But Francis, being a superstar he is, I'm pretty sure he got a pretty unprecedented purse, at least million and a half. I think he got like 2.5 million flat for his last fight.
Right.
I'm
Right.
not sure. I'd have to go back and look at the numbers, but
For the PFL super fight.
yeah, Jake would just be a different story. We have to
Right.
kind of see
Right.
what's up. Yeah.
Right. Um, and as far as Mike Tyson, he, I mean, it was
Huh.
watching him walk out was the best part of the night. After that,
Agreed.
it was kind of sad, unfortunately.
Um,
Like
you and I were just you and I were talking about this earlier. I kind of do think that Jake even took his foot off the gas.
yeah,
Um, I I kind of think they just want to give Mike a bag. I really do think they kind of just want to give Mike a bag, and
yeah,
Jake didn't
yep,
honestly didn't want to hurt him.
yeah. I agree.
And then you had old guys like me who know better, but got
Yeah,
all
because you
nostalgic,
can see. Yeah,
got all nostalgic and put money on Mike Tyson, which was one of the dumbest things I did all weekend.
you
So
did not put money on Mike Tyson.
I did. Yeah.
Well, you did predict that he would knock him out and put him in his place, but that's okay. I mean, a
I don't
lot
know
of
if I did predict. I think I even said on the pod. Actually, I don't think I said. I might. I feel. I want to be like, oh, I said, but I knew I
Tyson
was fooling myself.
Tyson was banged up going into. I mean, he had that brace on his knee. He didn't move well.
He
It's
almost
tough when
died. He almost died like 3 months ago. Like
he
yeah,
did.
like that.
He did. I mean,
Yeah.
if he was truly given like a full year,
No,
maybe that would make a
no, no,
difference.
no, no, no. Just because
You just
he's
think your
58.
stamina goes that fast, regardless of how you can train as hard as you want, and you're gonna lose stamina after
I
two or
mean,
three rounds.
He's 58 years old. I mean,
I know he is.
he
I
did,
know.
and Mike didn't look great in the first couple rounds either. So,
No.
like, I kind of knew right away. To be honest, like, I was like, oof,
He
there goes my money.
he looked better. He looked better against Roy Jones Jr., who didn't obviously
Yeah,
take.
but they're all. He's also bigger than Roy Jones, and they're also both pushing fucking. Excuse my French. Pushing
Yeah, they
50,
were.
60 years old. Yeah,
They're senior
they're both
citizens.
old.
They're senior citizens.
I was going to say, I hate to say that, you are correct.
But so if you were to grade Well, I know you didn't watch the entire show, but grading the what you did see, what you read, what would you give this show as a grade?
I well, actually, I believe I also watched the other title fight, the third to last fight.
That's the one that is up for fight of the year. They
Yeah,
said
it was
they're.
actually it was a really good fight. Yeah, yeah, it was a
I
really
thought
good
it was.
fight.
Yes.
Um, I actually do applaud what Jake's doing, giving some of these undercard fighters and Kate Taylor, Mastrano a really big platform that makes more money.
Yeah.
And it was a title fight, so they both obviously made like at least 100, couple hundred grand. Maybe it was 500. I don't know.
I bet
I
you
have
they
to
paid
look at.
more.
They probably. I believe they all got
Netflix
paid.
paid a boatload for this thing.
What's that?
Netflix paid a boatload to
Yeah, they
host
did. Yeah, yeah.
it at
And Jake
Cowboys.
obviously paid himself. Jake paid himself pretty well. Fuck. Excuse my friend. Sorry. $40 million. But
Well, he's the draw. I mean, at this point,
to a degree, Mike's the draw. But they gave Mike $20 million. He's happy. So yeah.
do you think that Jake will have a rematch with Tommy Fury?
I do not know. I thought that fight was awful close. So I think Jake would pursue that. I just don't know if Tommy Fury would want to take it again. Jake's definitely gotten better since then.
Yeah, yeah,
So
he
it
did.
might be a tough fight for Tommy. I don't know.
So overall, would you give the card, the show, the spectacle, the event a B, or are we talking like a C, C plus?
Oh, at least a B. I'd say B plus to be honest.
I would
Like
say B plus
the
two
quality
overall.
of the Tyson fight was not great,
No, it wasn't.
yeah, like I think Jake and his team MVP did a really good job. Like I would easily give that fight a solid B plus. Like
Y-
the show rather. I would give that
Yeah,
show a
yeah, the
solid B
show.
plus. Yeah.
I agree with that. I agree with that. Now moving on to our good old UFC 309. UFC 309. Um, and I wanted to see where you wanted to start. Um, did you want Jim Miller or um, there were a couple other fights before. I can't tell which one was the first on the. Oh, this was ESPN Plus. Okay, watch this fight ESPN Plus. Watch this fight ESPN Plus. Okay, so I got. Was it Jonathan Martinez versus Marcus McGee? Was that the start of the main card?
I don't give me one sec. I don't believe so.
Or no, Jim Miller was Jim Miller on the main. I think Jim Miller was on the main card.
I'm pretty sure that was prelim. One second.
Oh, okay, okay. And let me see. I had another site. Um, I had another site that was looking at it. Chris Weidman was there.
Chris Wyman did not fight.
No, 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 no. I was just saying that he got sick, or his opponent got sick, so that got pulled. I was just
So
trying to
you're
find.
looking at the preliminary card, Steven.
All right, so the prelims ended
Yeah,
with
like they three fights got scrapped. Weidman versus Anders,
yeah.
Onama versus Lucas Almeida, Nikita Krylov versus Azamat Mirzakhanov.
Okay, so I have. Let's see if I have it right here. Um, I'm trying to find where the first fight began. Okay,
Uh,
I have I have Jim Miller. Was he
Uh-huh.
on the undercard? I know you talked about
Yes, he
him.
was. Yes, he was.
Okay, so in like you predicted, he won.
Yeah.
He won by a first round submission.
Hmm.
He was the 41-year-old. He picked up a record 27th UFC win.
Exactly.
And surprisingly, it was Damon Jackson who retired. What were your
Yeah.
thoughts on that?
Jim Miller beat the bag out of the guy.
And you predicted it.
Yeah, it was a vintage Jim Miller performance, technically superior. Um, beating him on the feet, beating him on the ground, and just beating him pillar. That was one of those fights where it was a true beating from pillar to post, and the guy got beat up so bad he retired.
The guy got beat up so bad he retired.
Yeah,
That's funny.
I mean it's
Um,
what happened.
yeah, it is. No, it is. It is. It is. Was Bo Nickel and Paul Craig on the main card?
Yes, it was.
Okay, so then it's Viviane versus Caroline Silva. That was on the
Huh,
main card.
I believe so, Steve.
All right. And then Marcio Rufi versus James Lyontop. That must have been the start of the main card.
I'll tell you in 2 seconds. Sorry. The start of the main card was Mauricio Ruffy versus James Lontop. Yes.
Okay. So that was the first fight. And it was a decision. Rufi won. It was a catch weight, which I didn't quite understand why.
Someone
Um,
probably did. Someone probably didn't make weight.
yes, yes. It was Lion Top
Hmm.
who missed the weight. So it was a catch weight at 165.
Hmm.
Um, and I remember watching. Is it Roofy or Ruffy?
I don't know, but I believe it's Ruffy. Don't. I'm not 100% sure, but I do believe it's Ruffy.
I mean, he just seemed like very mechanical, like a machine. He just like went
Hmm.
to work, and Lion Top just kept coming like the Terminator and just walking into it.
Yeah,
But
we get a lot
Roofy
of fights like that. Yeah.
Roofy showcased that
Hmm.
against a bigger opponent. He
Hmm.
didn't get the finish, but he is pointing up apparently to the lightweight division. Were you any other thoughts on this fight?
Um, Not really. It's kind of like what you see, what you got. It,
Do you think he could have success moving up to lightweight, or it's I mean the lightweight?
I don't know. I was just having a flashback about you smoking, but um, yeah, like if he's having trouble making the featherweight limit, yeah, he should 100% move up to lightweight. That's just something I see. Some like extreme weight cutting is just a thing in MMA, and
Yeah.
you know, it's pretty standard. But if Ruffy's having that much trouble, you're talking about Ruffy, right? He's having that much trouble. You're talking about Ruffy, right?
No, no, no. Lion Top missed the weight cut, but they're
Oh,
saying
okay.
Ruffy could move up to
Yeah,
the
like
lightweight
if they're
division.
both
Yeah,
having that much trouble making the weight, like yeah, that's definitely the way to go.
the women's flyweight was next. Vivian against Karine Silva, and
Hmm.
Vivian won by unanimous decision. And I did not enjoy this fight. Um, it just kind of seemed slow. There were a couple nice punches thrown, and
Hmm.
I love seeing the Anaconda Vice, which is CM Punk's finisher. Um, and Silva looked like she came out a little too fast, and
Hmm.
she looked like she died down. Um, and that's why like she couldn't finish the job. The final round was just like watching paint dry.
That's something you tend to start seeing.
I know
And
in
well, no,
UFC.
like thing I was about to say, Steve, is these large like this. When you look at it, like it's a mega card, this is the card that's probably got the most eyes on it all year.
Yeah,
You
you're right.
know,
Yep.
so a lot of guys are
They don't
and
want to.
ladies.
Yeah,
Not even they see the plate safe. Sometimes you have these amazing performances where guys just jump out of themselves, like they're barely like they jump out of their own skin almost. They just put on these like spirited, amazing performances. But on the flip side of that coin, you have what you saw on Saturday night. A lot of people just playing safe. That's
yeah.
definitely a thing, and I think it kind of
But
is what happened.
I see it more in the UFC than I do in PFL. PFL, the fights seem to have more of a sense of urgency where they're trying to get the finish. Like they
I mean,
don't.
depends on like things with the point system and whatnot. But
It doesn't seem like they really try to go for the finish. And the
the thing,
last
one of
round,
the things about that, the PFL has a lot less established name fighters,
very true.
and
Yeah, right.
you have a lot more guys trying to make a name for themselves.
I get.
Whereas you have guys that are making more per fight usually in the UFC, and they're all playing safe because they want to get that win bonus. They want
Uh,
their
yes.
they want their
Yep.
check to be double. No real,
Oh,
yeah,
right. The win
yeah.
bonus. You're right. I forgot about that. The next fight was a middleweight, and this, according to your friend Brett Okamoto, was the worst fight of the night. Bo Nickel defeated Paul Craig by unanimous decision. Nickel not shooting for a takedown wasn't on anyone's bingo card heading into the fight, said Okamoto. Um,
Wait a minute,
with
was oh, you mean Bo not shooting wasn't on anyone's bingo card?
yeah, Nickel stood with Craig for three
Oh, I
uneventful
know.
rounds, and the crowd hated it, and Craig
Yeah,
hated
I
it.
mean,
Well,
Greg.
I'm just curious. Like, okay, so if you're Craig and
Mhm.
you have an opponent who is doing nothing and like doesn't want to fight you, isn't pushing the action, what are you supposed to do? Are you supposed to just
Well,
sit back? Are you supposed to be aggressive and hope you don't get caught? Like, I mean, it's got to
well,
be.
the thing about it is Craig's not. I mean, I don't really think that was exactly the case, Steve. Paul might have been trying to push the pace, but it's Paul Craig's not taking Bo Nickel down. Bo Nickel is one of the most accomplished wrestlers,
Right.
um, both accolades and ability that the UFC has ever seen ever.
Oh,
So, oh, Bo,
then why did he stand up with him? Why didn't he go for
because he wanted
takedown?
to prove a point. He wanted to prove a point.
Oh, okay. He wanted to
Like
prove that he could.
he wanted to prove a point. His striking is good enough now. Which it kind of is, quote, good enough to hang in there. But when he doesn't put a guy on the ground and he's really just trying to work his stand up, like you said, it was kind of like watching paint dry. It wasn't like
Yeah,
some wrestlers, some wrestlers come in, they have this like explosive power. We've seen it before. Bo Nichols knocked people out, but this was his most experienced opponent, his most accomplished opponent. And while he I think it's one showcase that his hands are pretty good, but I think it just became a case of him showing that his hands are
well,
adequate. They're adequate at best.
Bo Nickel was the undefeated guy that we had talked about going in. He was 6-0 going in, so
Yes, Chief.
there were higher expectations for him at this
Of
fight.
course. Of course.
I'm sorry. I'm
But
sorry. I'm sorry. I'm boring you, Tyler.
no, you're not
Um,
boring me. Steve, I just got up and woke up a little while ago. Ended up
I know you
sleeping
did.
late. It was a rough.
Rough night.
No, just a rough weekend with some fights. Like
Yeah, they were late. They were both late.
yes, exactly.
And that's the other thing they gotta change. They really do. UFC went to a 9 o'clock start for a year or two, and then they went back to a 10 o'clock start. I just think 10 is too late for five main card matches. So
Meh, you might be right.
yeah, thank you, thank you. You
You
said
might
I
be
might be
right.
right. You rarely say that, so I appreciate it.
Hmm.
The co-main event, which you also called, Charles Olivieri versus Michael Chandler.
Hmm.
And for the majority of the fight, Olivieri dominated Chandler.
Oliveira. Oliveira.
Oliveira. Oliveira
Yes.
dominated Chandler, dominated him. He got him on his back. He controlled the action, and the fifth round was the only thing that probably saved Chandler from ridicule. And according to Brett Akamoto, restored a potential showdown with Conor McGregor.
No.
Chandler
No.
threw a big right hand into Charles and pursued a
Hmm.
finish on the ground as the crowd
Yeah.
roared in approval. But Du Bronx was resilient, weathered the storm, and took Chandler's back with 90 seconds left. Chandler couldn't shake him. The fight ended, but the spirited effort with the final round was worth watching. Chandler now, I mean, he's got a losing record since he's been in UFC.
Yeah.
Now, he has taken on obviously top level opponents.
Hmm.
Um, but what are your thoughts here? What were your thoughts about the fight? And then where do you think that
Um,
Chandler goes from here?
Chandler is the so again the odds on Charles losing were so bad. Or no, long story short, I ended up putting a lot of money on Chandler just because the odds
You did.
were so up. Yeah, it was. Let's
Oh,
just
it
say I
was.
had a
Yes, you're right.
let's say I had a rough weekend gambling, but let's just say John Jones saved me for the love of God. But uh, Michael was just he's the action fighter of the top five. He's the top five gatekeeper. He's a top five, top 10 gatekeeper.
Yeah, you
You
got to
know,
go through.
you can always count on him. Like 98 times out of 100, he's gonna put on a exciting fight. But he is a classic example of a fighter that will sacrifice the win for being exciting. And
Yes.
I kind of think he's like using that as a crutch because he's been losing so much in the UFC. And he's like, "Well, I put on these. Okay, cool story, bro. You still what? He's like 4 and 5 in the UFC, 3 and 4 in the UFC.
I'm going to check right now. He is, yeah, wow, holy crap. He is
What?
1-4 in the UFC. He's 1-4 and his only win.
I just threw my pen because I thought I gave him too much credit. Yeah, like he's the gatekeeper now. Like I don't ever see him being in title contention again. He fought for the title one time,
But you
but
don't
like
see him getting cut after something like this
getting cut, no, they can't cut him.
because he
He
fights
was
top opponents.
we fights top opponents, and he was tapping the foil to Conor McGregor. He's just a gatekeeper now. If he loses like two more in a row, I'll cut him. But
Do
I
you
mean,
think that?
he still wants the Conor fight. I don't see that
Yes.
happening. They need to throw him.
Okay.
They need to do him a favor and throw him a softball though.
Do you think so? You don't think that Connor has interest in Chandler?
No, not at all.
Okay. Okay.
I think
I
Connor's going to be fighting Dan Hooker, but again, we'll see.
He already beat Dan Hooker.
Oh yeah.
Or no, I'm sorry, Chandler beat Dan Hooker. Sorry, I was wrong.
Chandler beat Hooker, not Connor.
Yeah, you're
I
right. You're
believe
right.
Chandler beat Hooker. Yeah.
He did. Yes. Yes.
That's not good. That's not a good look for anybody. Being Michael Chandler's one win in the UFC.
Actually, no, I think I'm wrong on that. I think it was O'Malley that beat Hooker. Um, Chandler
Oh
beat
man,
Tony.
who?
Sean O'Malley beat Dan Hooker.
No, he did. No, he didn't.
I'm pretty sure he did in his first fight.
Dude, Hooker fights at 155. Sean O'Malley fights at 135. Relax, Steve.
Oh, okay. Well, there was a fight in
Yeah.
Australia where it was somebody's first fight and Hooker lost and got stuck in Australia. I got to go back and look at that. Um,
Dude,
so
Hooker's from Australia.
I know, but he couldn't leave for some reason. He got stuck there for like a month. I remember the story; it was hilarious. Um, Charles, do you think that he now, because of the shenanigans going on in the heavyweight division, does Charles get a shot at the lightweight title?
He's already fought for the lightweight title.
Oh,
He's
I
already
know
lost
that.
the champion. He's already lost. He's the. I don't know.
You don't think he'll go back to him?
Islam's been on a tear. I don't. They're not going to throw Charles in there again. I mean, Charles wins another high profile fight. They could do that. He's
Right.
viable. He's not. It's not like Chandler, where Chandler's just not viable as a contender anymore. Charles, though, former champion. Oh, I know I've talked about Chandler putting on exciting fights, but Charles is another level. So I mean, I um I think he'd need to win another contender fight, but yeah, Charles is definitely in the mix there.
Okay.
It's weird. It's hard for me to like kind of make that. I have to take a step back and look at that just because Charles has he's been up and down, but he's been champion. He's won big fights, whereas you got a guy like Chandler who is now the gatekeeper of the top 10. He's lost one. He's won in the UFC, but
I don't know how
he
you
just
can call him the gatekeeper if he's 1-4. I mean,
because he
if he
fought
was
for the title
500,
law.
then I'd call him the gatekeeper. If he had a couple more wins, I'd call him the gatekeeper.
Nah, that's actually a very fair point, Steve. It's just kind of his role right now in the company.
Yeah, I understand. So
But
let's.
you made a very valid point, though, Steve.
Thank you, Tyler. I tend to make one every once a month or so.
Yeah, that's
Um,
about right.
so let's go to obviously the fight that everyone has been waiting for a couple years now.
Mm-hmm.
Stipe versus John Bones Jones, the greatest of
Mm-hmm.
all time, the GOAT, um,
Mm-hmm.
the most decorated heavyweight in UFC history, the most title defenses in UFC history.
Mm-hmm.
Um, it just looked like a complete domination. Like he just
Yeah.
beat the hell out of Stipe. I
I
mean,
wouldn't
Stipe just
go as far to call it complete domination, but Charles in the driver's seat the whole time.
yeah.
Like I wouldn't say Stipe got embarrassed or dominated, but John was in control of that fight the whole time.
According to Okamoto, Miocic Stipe didn't resemble the fighter who defended the heavyweight championship a record 3 consecutive times. The 42-year-old virgin of Stipe was slow, unsure of himself. Jones easily picked him apart before drilling him with the spinning back kick to finish him in the third round.
Yeah, that
That
was
was,
that.
oh
That was a
my
bad.
God.
I mean, you there? Sorry.
Yeah, I was like,
Okay, sorry.
holy crap. Like,
Sorry, Mike. I put my other earbud in and it just beeped a little bit. Yeah, like John's a master with that kick. John's a master with his kicks in general. But That's such a powerful kick. He hit him right in the
Yes.
the way he caught that. When you're throwing that kick, it usually gets messed up. Your opponent's you're aiming for your opponent's left side, and that's where that liver hits. And he hit him square in the liver too. Like I've rewatched that sequence about 5 times, and it looked like his foot hit right on the liver.
Do
That
you
that
throw
shot
kicks like
killed.
that?
What?
Do you ever throw kicks like that, spinning back kicks?
Yeah, I've thrown spinning back. I've connected on spinning back kick. I've thrown really awful ones. I've thrown really nice ones. I think I'm like in my career, like I was like 1 for 3 on spinning back kicks.
Well, you have to recognize the moment to when to throw it as well. It's got to be a
Well,
particular time.
the one I hit, I just came out, and the
Yeah.
first thing I threw, and it killed the guy.
So Jones wins third round. Stipe retires as expected.
Yeah,
Um, now Jones in his interview did say he would meet with Dana
yeah.
and talk about fighting Aspinall. Do you see that happening, or do you think it was just lip service?
Um, Dana's like adamant that he's gonna fight Adam Aspinall.
Well,
I'm
Dana said
honestly,
that, or he's never going to fight again in UFC.
yeah, I know, which is kind of crazy, but I get it. But I'd rather see him relinquish the heavyweight belt and fight Pahea. Like that's
That's
the
the
fight
main
I
event.
want to see. I disagree with Dana as far as the size discrepancy. Having trained with John, um, heavyweight John is just huge and strong and a problem, but he's not that much bigger than Bahia. So I don't know. Uh, part of me
Do
like,
you think he could do both,
no, could he?
or wants to?
Yeah, but wants to. I don't know about that, but I mean, we're looking at there's so much money involved with actually both of these fights. That might be the deciding factor in getting John to do. I could see him doing both fights.
Right.
Like if he fought Aspinall, beats Aspinall, and then Peje is still in the cards, I could see that happening. But if I had to pick one, I would rather see the Peje fight than the Aspinall fight. But whichever fight actually happens, I'll watch. Like
Yeah. Yeah.
as much as I'm sitting here being a talking head right now and breaking it down, I mean, I'll watch. I want to see both fights. I just want to see John fight again. So,
It's always great watching him fight, and I hate
mhm.
it. Like I said, it drives me nuts. Like Chandler and Jones have 2 year layoffs in between fights.
Well,
It's
Chandler
just
needs that layoff. Chandler needs that
yeah,
layoff.
I know he did. I know he took a lot of fights and a lot of damage in a short amount of time. I agree.
Yeah,
I agree.
but again, Chandler's cooked now, so who cares?
And Jones was gonna fight Stipe earlier, but there was an injury, right? That delayed
Yeah,
it.
yeah, yes, yes, yes.
Yeah. So, and then the next big news was Conor McGregor testifying in court on the sexual assault charge. Um,
I did see a little on this.
yeah, yeah. What
Yeah, but no, it's
he's a
just
king.
what's that?
He's a king in Ireland. Like, do you see him being convicted?
Not even. I'm not even talking about him being a king in Ireland. The from everything I saw, the evidence is BS. The
Yeah.
timeline doesn't match. The timeline doesn't match up.
Well,
There's all sorts of footage of the accuser really warming up to Connor, and the timeline,
yes.
like just the accuser's timeline and the actual sequence of events captured on camera. That's the thing. We have camera footage that kind of exonerates Connor. So I mean, it's nothing to do with him being a king in Ireland. It has to do with the fact that the
Right,
evidence,
right.
the evidence actually exonerates
Supports
him.
them. Yeah, and
Exonerates him.
her own friend testified that she mentioned nothing about being raped or sexually
Assaulted.
assaulted
Yeah, yeah.
her days until a few days later. But the doctor, I guess, who examined her did testify that there was tearing and signs of sexual assault. So, and the whole thing about the tampon being up there, I don't believe that was true either.
I
Uh,
did not see that part, but okay.
yeah, yeah, that was a big issue that there was a
Hmm.
tampon in there, and Connor had stated emphatically, had she been wearing a tampon, he would not have fornicated with her while she was menstruating. So there you go on that. Um,
I mean,
what
I kind of don't believe that, but hey,
what are your chances of driving to watch Syracuse and UConn play? Is there a
jeez,
chance? Is there a 50-50 chance? Is it
when is that game?
It's Saturday
Uh,
at noon. It's Saturday at noon.
oh, I don't know.
I'd have you come up Friday night, stay over, go out, have a few
Geez, like
cocktails.
Steve, you're like just asking me in the middle of a podcast. I
I'm
don't
not
know.
asking you. I'm just throwing it out there. I mean, it's
Maybe
entertainment.
like 40, 60, 50, 50. I'll give you that.
You'll give me
It's
40,
fun to
60,
ask.
really?
Ask me later in the week.
Well, I'm going to ask you every day, but I'm
Okay.
so you're giving me 40, 60 so
Yeah,
far?
40%.
All right.
Yeah,
I'll
40
take it. I'll take it.
40% chance of me doing it. But yeah,
That's impressive. That's impressive. I'm very
hmm,
proud to hear that. I'm very proud to
you're
hear
very
that.
proud. Okay.
So, do you have any do you have any events coming up this weekend? Any of your guys fighting?
This weekend, no,
Okay.
nothing until
So
January.
so there
Nothing
we
until
go.
January now.
So I think we just answered your question, my own question. I think you have no reason not to come up here. Um, we
I
could do a
mean,
nice podcast, and you love to
driving to
drive.
No, I don't. Driving to New Hartford, New York sounds like a nightmare.
You're the only one who hates driving to New Hartford, New York, and you've been
No,
here a
I'm
million
not.
times.
No, I'm not the only person that hates driving to New
You
Hartford, New
are,
York.
you are, you are, you are.
No,
Tyler,
I'm not.
do you realize that if I took you to Cavallo's or the Killabrew, like people know who you are? Like I could bring you anywhere in this town and you would be recognized.
Yeah, I know. But I mean, that's me.
I know, and that's Old Forge. I could take you to Old Forge. Everyone would know you. I mean, you just have that
Yeah,
personality.
yeah, of course.
All right. Well, I wanted to thank you for your expert analysis and breaking down
Hmm.
the cards we had this weekend
Yep,
on the MMA report on 97.9 Unity Radio. You did a spectacular job.
appreciate it.
Are you are you going into the gym today?
Yeah. Oh
Later?
yeah, I
You
got.
are. Okay.
Oh yeah.
All right. Well, no, I was just going to say if you're available later and bored and want to come on the Rebel Republic or Money Line, just I'll shoot you a text.
You sent me. I think I might jump on Robo Public
Oh, you're
just to make some conservative talking points.
oh, that would be great. That would be great. We got close to 20,000 views last week, so your appearance is a nice draw. So
Hmm.
um,
Obviously.
we hope to see that. But I will text you later. For the
Alrighty.
Marauder himself, Tyler King, I am Steve Cully, the best podcast host in the universe. This has been the MMA Report on 97.9 Unity Radio. Tyler, he has to go because all he does is train. He's going to teach some class, and then he's going to beat that ass. So remember, when life gives you lemons, don't make lemonade. Take two oranges